what's going on? We're back again. Wrestle Fury's pre-Dynamite live stream, hosted by myself, Big AO, Charlie, Joe Hulbert. Pretty much the usual Wednesday cast now. We're going to get into a few things, of course. It's all the fallout from Forbidden Door. We're now on the road to All In and All Out. So there's a lot going on the AEW side of things. Of course, we've got AEW Dynamite coming up in just under 90 minutes. Very AEW-centric episode today, of course. But yeah, man, of course, first things first, like, subscribe, super chat, turn on post notifications, always appreciated. Hope everyone is doing good, especially my co-host, starting with you, Charlie. You have not long got back from Toronto. You was at Forbidden Door. You was in the media scrum. You was out there, you was clocking in hours for Wrestle Purists. We love to see it,
Just fucking girl bossing.
Absolutely. So how you doing? How was it? Talk to us about it.
It was a really great time. I'm still riding the high. I feel like I haven't really registered the fact that it's happened. The tiredness will hit me eventually, but I'm still riding that high at the moment. But it was just such a great weekend because we did Collision and then we went to Forbidden Door and I got to do the media scrum after, which was just a hell of an experience in itself. But I'm just really happy that I got to do all of that, and it was just a fantastic trip. I had a blast.
Absolutely, we're gonna pick your brain a little bit more about it as we get through the show. Absolutely. But of course, moving around, Hulbert, the old man around here. How you doing, man?
I'm slightly disappointed because Charlie mentioned many impressive things, but did not mention selling 8x10s, which is disappointing. But
can't win them all.
There's always next time. But no, I'm terrific. It's every single week I say this, but it's another week where it feels like there's a lot going on. And for you and I specifically, Monty, we've got some stuff ahead of us. So it's really, really fun times. I'm happy to be here. How are you, Monty?
I'm good, man. Same old, as I always say. Just keep on moving along, It's what we do around here at Wrestle Purists, Putting in the graft. AO, Big AO, EVP AO. How are you doing today?
Kenneth, by God, Omega and William Ospreay have restored my love for professional wrestling. I was starting to feel the burnout, man. Right now, if I was only watching this shit that I was really excited for, it'd really just be like New Japan, son. AEW has had a run of good and then bad shows recently. But I wasn't feeling it, bro. But then the wrestling god, the god of professional wrestling, the greatest to ever do it, Kenny Omega, just he talked to me on a spiritual level this past Sunday, and I feel like a new man. Pause. You feel me? And it's the type of shit that just brings a tear to your fucking eye. I was supposed to be at Forbidden Door. I couldn't, because I had obligations I couldn't miss. Then I didn't think I was going to be able to watch the show live. I was going to be on the road back to DC. I said, fuck that, Montel. I said, fuck that, Joseph. I said, fuck that, Chuckington. I got a hotel room. I was like, I'm not missing Forbidden Door. And I don't regret the decision at all, man. I don't regret the decision.
Glad to hear Kenny Omega, he'd done his thing, and he, like you said, man, he brought your love back in the game, He was slipping away. We could have lost AO in a month or so, You never know how it could.
That is a real thing, that every wrestling fan has that internal dialogue. I assume anyway. Maybe it's just AO and I'm going to make it sound crazy, but that internal dialogue of so if this was just my choice, would I be watching all this right now? That's a real thing. You if it was just stuff that I really wanted to watch, it's a real thing you ponder. And when you experience a match you love, there's nothing like it. It reminds you of everything, the reason you do all this stuff. So I'm glad to hear that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a beautiful piece of business, Forbidden Door, though, Charlie. You was in the crowd. You were singing Judas. You was man, you done the whole experience. You was in the media scrum for a Jericho angle. Give us what are some of your highlights from Forbidden Door, scrum included.
Getting to be in the room again for Wayward Son that's the second time I've gotten to see that live now, and that entrance is just always incredible. Like, I've seen it with both Kenny and Hangman now, so like if I never see it again, I'm content. Final countdown, like getting to be in the room for
Special
that one as
moment,
well.
yeah.
It was such a special moment because like the crowd was exhausted at that point. It had been like a long show with a lot happening. And like everyone just came alive again. It was just incredible. When like there was so many good matches, like that's putting it lightly, but like the 10-man tag was everything I wanted it to be and more, honestly. Like Ospreay and Omega was just fucking incredible live. Like that went like what, just shy of 40 minutes, and like when they announced 30 minutes, I was just like, how has it already been 30 minutes? It felt like it'd been like 15 at that point. And then like Okada Bryan was just, it was just like a religious experience being in that building for that. Like it was just incredible. And the media scrum itself, the media scrum itself was like such a great learning experience. It was a lot of fun. I was just like quite tired at that point. I was just like, I'm just here, just like to say we've done it and like rep the brand and all that. But I was definitely awake after Jericho burst in the room because I was just like listening to Sting talk, and then the bat got whacked against the door and it scared the shit out of me. I was just sat there and I just started laughing because I didn't know what to do at that point. But that was
Jericho, man.
Quite the moment. Jericho got to witness some like promo like 10 feet away from me. I was like, good God.
It's like when Jay Shell was at one, when Daniel Garcia done the angle.
Yeah.
Jay Shell's mum was there.
Your mom was terrified and became a meme, bro. That was hilarious.
That was when we got the on the LNG front. We had that react. Remember when Jay Shell said late night grin and Tony's eyebrows did that weird like spike, like he was like he was being like investigated for something. It was glorious, but yeah,
He's,
always great.
Interesting fella, that Tony Khan in these scrums. You know, it's like he gives Charlie like this little wave when he was
so enthusiastic. I was like, oh, hello.
He has his little quirks, doesn't he? You know?
I think he's still very, very nervous, like talking in front of, and I think that's how it comes out, right? Some of those quirks. His answers are fascinating at this point, right? Like, it's just like he just asks like more questions. He's like, "That good?" I guess. Yeah. Bless him, he's doing his thing.
Yeah, he like uses the questions as excuses to go on the tangent that he wants to go on. You know, it's beautiful stuff. You know,
I've been there.
But yeah, he's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Right. So AEW, of course, like I just said, Forbidden Door just happened. Ayo, this is your first show, I believe, since Oh, was you on Sunday? No, of course you was.
My first show since Sunday.
First show since Sunday. Of course, you've just you spoke about your religious experience watching Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. Of course, kind of like the
fucking Mecca, bro.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, you got any other highlights on the show? Anything you want to touch on?
The 5-man. I'm a big fan of 90% of the wrestlers in that match. You know, pretty much all. I'm a fan of all of them. Big fan of most of them. But I was just like, is this the best use of their time? Like just doing the 5-man on Forbidden Door. Like this could have kind of been a Dynamite main event. Man, that was the best 5-man I've ever seen in my fucking life. And then all these fucking Cornette cocksuckers was in my mention talking about, what about fucking War Games 82? I mean, I'm sorry, 10-man tag specifically, I said. Who in their right mind thinks of a War Games match and is like, yes, this is a 10-man tag?
Yeah.
No, first of all, I've never seen War Games 92, first of all. Second of all, suck my dick, Crocky, all right? I don't give a fuck about what you had going on, nigga. It's 2023, all right? The elite are running professional wrestling, you feel me? All that Crocky shit is in the fucking mud, okay? Or else Cornette and that dumbass promotion he had going on would still be running. Smoky Mountain to my dick, nigga. Elite Ganger don't bang. Fucking best 10-man I've ever seen. I popped, Chuck was saying it before the show, but I popped huge for Ishii getting the pin. Like, I don't think anybody saw that coming. I didn't think the Elite were gonna win this match. I assumed they would lose here and then win Blood and Guts. But I guess BCC's winning Blood and Guts, which I'm fine with. I'm a huge fan of both factions, obviously. And shit. Like either one deserves to walk away from this feud saying that we were the better team here and shit. I love the show. It started really slow with MJF versus Tana. I don't know what people were expecting MJF to get out of Tanahashi after watching that Swerve match the night before, but they got they got a lot of the same. If you enjoyed it,
Tanahashi was working the crowd really well though.
Yeah,
like him starting the coward
great.
chant was
The
so
crowd
funny.
He OG didn't bring his working boots, or maybe he did, and this is just where he's sat from now on. But I didn't love that match. I didn't love Punk versus Kojima. The heat during Punk versus Kojima made it like something that you would want to go watch. But if you just go off the work, it was fucking whatever. And then I'm not gonna run through the whole show myself, but yeah, it started out just a little bit slow. I was like, oh, what's going on? And the 4-man happened, and then the Elite and all that shit happened. I liked it a lot.
Big show, man. Great show. Of course, it'll be probably will get thrown into the conversation for sure at the end of the year. There's a lot of big spectacle moments on it, and of course a lot of great matches. Of course, the highlight of it, especially consensually, would be, of course, Omega versus Ospreay. Obviously, loads and loads of talk about that. It's caused discourse. It's about moves being safe. It's caused all kinds of stuff. As Kenny Omega and Ospreay both do when they reach like their peak match moments, and all their fans are going crazy for them. Then you got the other half of it who hate those matches, and it's just you get, like I said, discourse. But anyway,
for anyone who cares, that is currently Kenny's highest rated singles match in AEW on Cage Match. For anyone who cares, it's slightly
what's the
rated
number?
below the like 9.61.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's slightly rated below Hang Mega versus the Young Bucks at Revolution.
Yeah, that match is a masterpiece. Yeah. Not to say the Ospreay match isn't, but that tag match is like that is extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary piece of work. That's incredible.
My favorite
of
matches
course.
Yeah,
we've got a lot to come. We've got a few things that will kind of carry on after Forbidden Door. Of course, we mentioned the Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club. Of course, that's an ongoing storyline. It wasn't all just for kind of novelty, and spectacle. There was some storylines coming out of it. Of course, the Hook. The whole Hook Jack Perry thing. Jack Perry turned on Hook, and he's now a heel. There's been reports from Fight for Select that he's going to be getting like a music change and all that sort of stuff. So he's going to get a complete change of presentation, it seems.
I was heartbroken. So sad.
Did you not see it coming, Chuck, or just it happening? Just
No, I saw it coming. Like I filmed like the whole thing of them like walking up the ramp because I was just like, he's gonna turn on him any minute now. But I was just really sad because I really like them as a tag team.
Yeah, I was surprised. I guess it kind of was set up in that way, But with Jack Perry being like more of a dick on like in the last couple matches leading up to this. But it kind of, there was a lot of people who kind of, would have hoped that they could have got a bit more out of the Jungle Hook tag for now, like a couple more weeks, maybe a couple months out of it before doing, the Jack Perry heel turn. But it does seem like they've got plans for him. Intrigued to see what they are, and if I can be won over on the idea of a heel Jack Perry. It's not really something that gets me like super, super fired up. I don't know. But yeah, man, we'll see what Jack Perry can do with it. He might prove me wrong and just find a new level. That's obviously a part of the reason why they're doing it as well. He's still a developing talent. He's been a babyface the whole time in AEW, understandably so. He's been quite a blatant babyface,
right.
So this is obviously something very, very new for him. Ayo, how do you think Jack Perry will handle being a heel going forward? Do you think he'll be able to rise to the occasion, or are you feeling a bit weird about it?
I don't know if his future is being a heel or a babyface, but I do think this run is going to go better than most people suspect. when he was mocking the crowd, like doing his stupid little fucking dance and like those mannerisms, that was good shit. That was good shit. I don't know if I really want to see Jungle Boy just laying in holds and shit during matches. Hopefully he takes a more Young Bucks approach to being the heel. Where he's like, oh, we're gonna get our shit off regardless, but their crowd work is just like the way they'll do a fucking. They're the only ones that do like a more bang for your buck, and then just like start taunting the crowd, and the crowd's like, fuck these guys. You know, like everybody loves the fucking Young Bucks. They helped start AEW and shit, but the heat that they were getting for years was. I think he can learn a lot from them. I don't think his in-ring style should change too much. He did a good job working heel versus Doki. Like he was doing shit like pulling the hair. He's like refusing to like rope break and shit like that. I think they could lean more into that instead of just being fucking, you know, miniature Randy Orton or whatever. But let's see how it plays out. I'm excited for it.
We'll see, indeed. Charlie, I know you was just saying, you know, wanting to get a bit more Jungle Hook, but how you feeling about heel Jack Perry going forwards? You know, he's kind of, you know, it's one of those things in the minute.
Yeah, I'm like excited to see what they do with him because he's got a segment on Dynamite tonight, so I guess we'll like see if he can like really like embrace it and see what he does here. But like AO was saying, like he's starting to get the mannerisms down already. Like we're like mocking the crowd with like his old I guess it's gonna be his old entrance now, and all that sort of stuff. But it's one of those things that I'm cautiously optimistic about. I feel like if they like book it right, this could be like really good for him and help him take him to the next level. And like him turning like on Hook was like a pretty good decision anyways, because everyone loves Hook, so he was going to get massive heat for that regardless. So I think it could be good.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Joe, you got anything you want to add on the heel turn of Jack Perry? I know we done our kind of review on Monday anyway. So
no, I mean I wasn't keen on the idea of a couple months ago. Probably a little less than that even, but I do think it probably was time to try something new with Jack. It's both exciting and also like if you're a big fan of Jack, I do think it's kind of, I won't say scary, that's far dramatic for a wrestling conversation, but, you know, like it's kind of like it is kind of sink or swim in some ways, and I don't want to be dramatic about it, but it's like, you know, when you change, his act has been a certain thing, and I think the act has worked really well, and I'm a fan of Jack. I think he's a really, really good wrestler, and I've consistently beat that drum, but it has to be said that, to AO's point, if he makes a couple of decisions that we think are missteps with how he changes his style, if his promos don't hit the way we want them to, you know, you can very quickly fall, because the reality of the AEW roster is it's the All-Stars, right? I mean, it's absolutely loaded. So it's challenging, but that's part of the game. And I think Jack has shown, I think, for the most part on the biggest nights, he's delivered and has shown a kind of an excitement and enthusiasm for those moments. He seems to relish those kind of challenges, I think, just based on his in-ring. So I'm hopeful. I really think it could be very important for his development. And in that case, it's probably worth rolling the dice. But we shall see very shortly.
Yeah, 100%. Seem to be with you for the majority of that. Let's do some super chats. Real quick. We've got a few. Please keep them coming. We always appreciate them massively. Short on Spurs, $5. He says, when do we start the Wrestle Purist Omega Osprey rating Inquisition? Never.
Look, man. I've been told specifically not to point any fingers here. But just look towards that Monday crew a little bit. Just look into the Monday crew is all I'm saying.
Oh, fuck off.
Just look into the Monday crew.
I will say this. I do not have to defend my take or reason it, because I wrote a 700-word review of the match. I will not comment on it beyond that.
It's like, come on. Like, even if Joe gave it like a fucking 4, right, which he didn't, but even if he did, the amount of work that he put into that review, obviously he loved the fucking match, or he wouldn't have watched it 18 times and then wrote 1,000 words about it. Like,
I appreciate
it. And then it's not the biggest deal. Like, it's literally just stars in a tweet from people that you don't know. Thankfully, you guys like our content and shit, but it's not a big deal, bro. Meltzer's gonna give it above a 5 anyway, so
yeah. If it helps, if people saw the whole spreadsheet, they would dislike other ratings of mine much more. If that helps, so it's more broad than you realise, folks. But
yeah, it's not just the people you see on podcasts. You know, there's
Yeah.
loads of people that contribute to it. So it's like for something to get 5, like so many people would have to, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, not doing this. Andrew the Giant, £2. Appreciate you as always. Hoping Corbin debuts in the match guide this week. He will. He will.
Yo,
we
he
will
so
be
much
rating
love that
a
match.
Baron Corbin
Yeah.
match
Wait,
in the
Who
match
did
guide
Baron
this week.
Corbin have a match with?
Carmelo Hayes. They were
At
saying it
one
was the
point-
best match of both
yeah.
their careers.
Oh,
Yo,
at one
Ibu,
point,
I was listening to Ibu watch the match, and he was like, "Oh, Baron Corbin just hit Carmelo Hayes with a last ride through the announcer's desk." I was like, "Oh, that does sound kind of fire." But
I'll see.
Do
I
I
haven't
need to
watched it
watch
yet,
this
but
thing?
Thing is with Corbin, bro.
I don't know.
I've always said it. He's
Wait. What was he still using like his main roster gimmick, or did he go back to the Lone Wolf?
he went
He
back
went-
to
he-
like
yeah, he
fully
went back
back
to
to
the-
it. Yeah.
Oh,
fully back to
shit.
the Lone Wolf for,
I
for
might
one
have to
night
watch this
only.
match.
You know?
I
We
really
have
might
tapped
have to.
into the black and gold like 2015 nostalgia era NXT, and this is a very dangerous road to walk. You know, we're gonna have
Oh yeah.
Blake and Murphy out there next week. Vaudevillains is gonna
Rhea
be.
Ripley was down there last night as well, man. She was so yeah,
what was Rhea
definitely.
doing at NXT?
I was
She
alone. I might have to tap in for that.
she had a segment with was it? She said something nice about Laura Valkyra. Who else was there? There was someone else. Like that wasn't the main thing she did. There was actually something. I've probably got it on the Twitter account, but it wasn't nothing crazy significant. Like she wasn't setting up feuds or anything, you know. So
Okay. You said something nice.
yeah,
That's
like you know,
nice.
like the Seth thing with Nathan Fraser. Like it was like that sort of
Mhm.
thing, you know. But like with Laura, I'm looking for it now. This is. Oh yeah, she had like a segment with Mello. She had a segment with Mello, because obviously Mello wrestled Finn. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
just kind of like
Okay.
you know, stay out the Judgment Day's business kind of thing. So yeah, Rhea Ripley was down in NXT as well, but Baron Corbin, the Lone Wolf Baron Corbin, he did his thing, man. The thing is with Corbin, he's like he knows how to wrestle, you know.
Mhm.
He does.
Good.
He, like you know, no, but people do a lot with putting fucking like shitting on Corbin, and I get it because it's like he's
Yeah.
done. You know, he's been absolutely criminally overexposed more than literally any wrestler in like the past however many years. But you know, he knows what he's doing out there when he wants to. You know, especially as of late, he's been super unmotivated. I think that's been like, quite easy to tell. You know, wrestling for the big one on Tuesdays. He thought, you know what, I'm gonna wind back the clock and show people, you know, I know what I'm doing out there. And
Cold big one.
you know, bro, but you gotta think. Corbin was like basically in the main event scene of Raw for like a year, you know, to much people's pain. I get it. But like that's a lot of experience. So like, you know, he was a pro out there for Miller, you know, he was feeding the combat well, he does good cut offs, blah blah blah, you know. He knows what he's doing out there, Joe. He's a pro.
Oh, I actually haven't seen it, so I can't really.
I know you. That's why I'm taking this one. You
Good.
know?
I
I'm the
have
only
no
person
problem
who's
with
seen it. You know,
No,
I'll check that one out.
Corbin's a pro. Is my point. You know,
he is. He
a
is
pro.
right. Good.
I like his signature moves a lot. I think people should steal them, personally.
Real. It's good
Fair.
shit. Yeah.
Real wrestling. You know.
Mhm.
But yes.
He's not a real wrestler.
Andrew the Giant, we will be including Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes for the big gold in NXT in our week's match guide. Hopefully people won't get mad at us about that one. Mazfan84 199, appreciate it very much. Omega Loki, great at applying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in his matches. It's great at everything, really. You know,
That
He's
was
so,
slick. Though.
One of the
That
best.
stretch there, for sure.
He can do it all, like
Just
in
the
ring.
greatest
You know?
shooter fucking AEW's ever seen. Maybe the greatest shooter professional wrestling's ever seen. Many people
was
are
a-
saying it.
it was a
I'm
great
not
moment.
pushing any agendas on you people, but many people are saying it. I'm just letting y'all know what people are saying.
Been a lot of that in my DMs, I will say.
Yo, you see this fucking shooter, Kenny Omega, man. He might be the GOAT.
It was a great moment in that match when he had the triangle and Ospreay did like the Rampage Jackson slam out of it, and it was like their double down and the whole place rose up. It's beautiful. That was a great moment.
They got like 6 standing ovations during that match.
Yes.
It was incredible.
It was
Right.
I
wild.
don't think I sat down once.
What
I
was
think
the
I was
biggest,
stood up the whole thing.
In the match, what was like the biggest live reaction? Was the one kick out? One count?
It was either the one kick out or when Kenny got his foot on the rope.
The foot on the rope,
Because no
is
one was
maybe-
expecting that.
that may be the best rope break spot ever.
I thought the match was over. I thought it was over.
Yeah,
I did too.
I thought it was because I was
Almost looked
recording.
away.
I was like, I need to get the end of the match, and I thought that was it. And then he put his foot on the rope. I was just like, fuck.
Incredible.
Such good shit. God, I love that match.
I think they're pretty
Bam.
good wrestlers, personally.
Yeah, they're pretty good, you know. Pretty decent. Bam, $2. Kenny Omega saved my life again. Wrestle Purist ruling media. You know,
Thank you,
listen,
bro.
we got some good women on the team, you know. AEW let us both times we've had presence at the media scrums. It's been Charlie and Jay Shell. So obviously that means that Wrestle Purist men are, you know, we're just disgusting animals, you know. They don't want us anywhere near those scrums, you know. Manny applied once, you know.
Yeah.
Manny the Hooper did fill in a form a few, it was like 6 months ago or something now. Maybe you'd get a different result now, I don't know. But and of course Manny the Hooper's Manny the Hooper, you know. So
Manny
Yeah,
walking up and being like, Tony, when you start booking some real shit? Tilting his head as he talks into the mic. What's going on around here?
bring his own microphone, you know.
Standing there asking where he has to plug it in, like, what? You know? And they give him the mic and he starts whacking it as loud as he possibly can. Everyone's like, gee, what's wrong with this guy?
Man who'd like sit down for the media scrum and the first guest would be Orange Cassidy and he'd be like,
Oh, fucking brother.
Yeah. Why is there no dog in your game, bro? What are you doing here?
Do you know why Manny started his agenda against Orange Cassidy? Why he hates him this so much? It has nothing to do with his in-ring style. It has nothing to do with his gimmick. He hates Orange Cassidy because it was supposed to be Ospreay versus Andrade,
Yes,
and the match got
right.
canceled because of
Yeah.
CMLL AAA politics. And then Orange Cassidy got thrown in the match, and Manny just decided enough. He has to die. Like that's where all this
remember-
comes from.
He did it. That was when he did that deal where he like fired up WWE 2K and played Ospreay versus Andrade and was like, "I'm recreating the thing I wanted here." And it was like, "What is happening? What a legend! What an incredible character!"
He's an animal, man. He's something
He's the
else.
Yeah.
Cody Willis 199. Hi, Wrestle Purist fan. Ready for a night of the A show on TBS. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good show. Dynamite. Absolutely, a lot of stuff I'm interested in. We're gonna get into it. JC 499. Only Omega and Ospreay could have a match of the year in January and somehow top it. If it gets a third, if it gets a third, it could be the greatest trilogy of all time.
I agree, but
True.
looking at their tweets, they were putting each other over heavy. It seems like the feud is over for now. I think they
Yeah.
were like, AEW was like, all right, Kenny gets a win at the Dome. New Japan was like, all right, Billy gets a win in Toronto, and they're shaking hands and going their separate ways on that feud. Because if it was continuing, those tweets were kind of baffling because it was just like they were doing was just putting each other over huge. It's just this is kind of like supposed to be like we fucking hate each other kind of things. I don't know. We'll see.
I know there's no way to say this without sounding like I'm campaigning for my own, bias, but that match at Wembley would be like I don't think people realize what the atmosphere would be like, because Ospreay's the home guy, but so many people that attend All In will be cheering Kenny Omega regardless of who he wrestles.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like it could genuinely have. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I don't know if you guys have seen. I know you've probably seen it when Anthony Joshua fights at one of those stadiums.
Yeah.
It's like it's like an atmosphere you can't possibly capture with words. It could be as close as wrestling could get, I think, genuinely. Like Ospreay Omega 3 in that building, that would be spectacular. I was kind of thinking about
it because it's like Anthony Joshua, AJ's black, he's British, right? So they love him, but he's also black. So it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
maybe we like the other guy a little bit more.
There's a weird dynamic. I've been at those fights. I can attest. There's a very strange dynamic.
Yo, he's a print, but I don't know, man.
There's a lot of people who go like quietly rooting against him, and it comes out in the fight. It's very, very strange. Very, very strange.
Yeah, he's very pretty divisive guy, isn't he? You know, AJ.
Hilariously, he is. Yes,
he fills the stadium, so you know, big star. Anyway,
yes.
Next super chat we have: was EB future endeavored over his star ratings? That was crazy. No, he wasn't, brother.
You think the boss disagrees?
Bro, at the end of the day, you know, he didn't. EB obviously his rating was his rating. He must not have, of course, thought it was as good as you did. And, you know, you'd think we give it fucking 3 1/4 the way people, you know, like, Jesus Christ. People so angry over just like 0.25 of the stars, just like really.
The funniest replies are always the people that are like, man, Dave's washed.
Yeah, cracks me up.
Yeah,
as if there was ever a time where every single rating Dave gave out, you was like, yes, this is the correct rating. Thank you, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was never a time where that happened. So like, what do you mean he's washed now? It's just like, yo, I don't know. The people in our replies are like in on the joke that these are actually Dave Meltzer's ratings.
Yeah.
And that just feed fuel to the fire is fucking hilarious, bro.
Absolutely.
Lamora, $5. Sorry for beating a dead horse, but I hope the flood of stardom questions that TK got convinces him to really get them involved in the next Forbidden Door. I don't think it's a TK issue per se, you know, where it's like TK don't want to do it and he needs convincing. I'm sure he'd be happy to do it. It's just Stardom this year, we're doing a show on exactly the same day.
It has to be said because we haven't talked about it on a show. I know, and I'm sure Dom Go Live covered. I didn't get to see their show, but that 12. The cage match, loser must
cage
leave,
survival,
is one of the most incredible matches of the whole year thus far. If you haven't seen it, I can't recommend it. I know everyone hates the term now, and it's become like there are moments in that match that are cinematic in the best way. I'm not trying to do the meme. Like it actually is wonderfully theatrical. It's just great, beautiful match.
Absolutely. There was a lot of hype about that. Like it was all called joint match of the week with Omega Ospreay, so that says quite a lot about it, you know. We've got a feature on it that went up like the day after the match. Of course, Peps wrote about it a lot in his weekly Joshi guide as well. The guys reviewed it last night on Don't Go Live, you know. So a lot of noise around that match. An absolutely great piece of business. So it's not like Stardom were doing nothing on their time away from Forbidden Door, you know. Really good stuff, and I agree with you, Lamora, to an extent where, you know, it would be great to have them on, but I don't think it's a thing where TK needs to be convinced, to be honest. But yeah. Oh dear, Ron, $1.99.
Jesus.
Hey fam, my homeboy Sizzling Joey Joe, love you, bruv.
You a big Ron DeSantis guy, Joe?
I'm trying really hard to stop this bit, and it's very persistent. But in my attempts to no sell it, I'm only selling it more. It's backfiring violently on me.
Tough, you know, like, you being like kind of squirmish and uncomfortable about it is
Makes
now
me very
like, the ongoing bit of why he does it. So it's like you need to find a new angle, maybe. You know,
there are many crazy super chat bits in our chat, and I can truly say none of them have made me as uncomfortable as Ron DeSantis saying Joey Joe.
The next time that Joe Harbert has the audacity to post a clip on Twitter that he actually enjoys, and they just the fucking lynch mob is after him again. They're just gonna put a screenshot up. You're like, look at this motherfucker, he loves Ron DeSantis. It's just gonna be over.
Be interesting times on the Twitter app. Arnold, another interesting one. Arnold, $1.99. Hey guys, it's me, man. That Kenny Omega, the GOAT. I mean, many agree, Arnold. Many agree. Izura Hart, $5. WrestlePurist men aren't allowed because Brick would be up there and Chris O'Bread would start barking. Could you imagine Chris at a fucking media show? I think I would put a stop to that before I
See, the thing is, if Chris would go there sober, I would trust the homie. But it's just like,
would you?
Can I trust Chris
really?
to not drop acid before this meeting? Like, is that just like, is that something I could do? I don't know, Chris.
He's a wild animal, that kid. You know, we do our best, but you know, sometimes he barks. You know. Ariel 199, appreciate you. Kenny versus Ospreay, lol. Bloodline Civil War Saturday. That's very nasty business.
Attendance. Did you guys get media for that?
We did not.
Oh,
I think we was
Gorilla,
too late
brother.
in asking. You know,
I'm in
we got
Gorilla
VIP,
position.
brother. You know.
Yeah,
holding us
I'm not
down.
even, sitting there in VIP, staring at all the fans out there, watching all the matches like losers, strolling down for the main event, giving a sort of salute to people as I go past.
The people want to know, did y'all decide on matching Bloodline t-shirts for this Saturday?
We did, but there's a lot of issues, and I'm very uncomfortable with the situation we've got ourselves in because we've got these shitty bootleg ones, and it's a catastrophe. And when it arrived, I said to him, this is a situation. It's a bad situation. This thing is on me like an apron, bro. I said it's a real problem. We'll talk about
y'all better hit that WWE shop.
This is the thing. We may not be matching, but we will be the ones. I just know we're going to be
the ones who will be in attendance.
Yes. Maybe not Stay tuned, folks.
Stay tuned. Mass184 199. Appreciate it. Manny would definitely ask Ospreay about the crossface, but see, Massman, this is what we're talking about.
He's dropping Chris Benoit by name, bro. He's like, what happened? What did I do?
No, he wouldn't say say Chris Benoit. He would call him redacted live at the media.
I genuinely think he would say Benny. I think he'd say Benny.
Benny the Crippler.
He's an animal.
That was a moment. That was a moment in time. That spot. It was.
Bro, it genuinely was. Like, Charlie, what was actually like being there live? Because like as a viewer, like I rewatched the match is very long. I watched like the last 70% of the match, I kind of skipped a few of the starts when I rewatched it. And I'm watching that spot and it feels like the crowd kind of don't know what to do with it at first. Until they start chanting, "You sick fuck, you sick fuck, you sick fuck," at Ospreay. Yeah. Very interesting choice of a spot,
Yeah, like when it first happened, like I hadn't really realized like what it was a reference to at first, and then I got it, and like the energy in the building shifted a little bit because no one was expecting it, and they were just like, "Well, we're just gonna boo the fuck out of him again," and it was just, it was a little bit of just, oh wow, he did that, so.
Right. Well, it was the placement, right? Because it's like, if you just do a crossface, that's one thing. But when you lead into it with the sharpshooter, it's like, oh, he's actually doing it for that reason, That's wild. Yeah, it was interesting.
What a fucking
certainly a choice with William. Certainly a choice.
He made a few choices in that match. The flag stuff started some real debates with the people around us. There was a lot of conversation about
Storm the Ring. Are Canadians patriotic?
I mean, a little bit. Charlie's like, I don't know if I can answer that really. Charlie does a weekend in Toronto, and she's like, well, I mean, I guess. I don't know.
God bless. Princess Diana, $5. Logan Paul winning Money in the Bank in London would be the greatest tragedy in this country since ... Well... ...
Well, Joe would say since Margaret Thatcher passed away.
That was
no.
even worse than the Ron Super Chat. That was like a dagger to the spine. That was terrible. We're going to move on. What I was going to say was, I mean this with all respect and love to anyone who does care, but I am truly impressed that people still get worked up about who is going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. I mean that with love. I mean that with sincerity. I see tweets every day about they better not rob LA Knight, and I'm like, man, we're still doing this, huh? This is still a song and dance we're doing. Like I just don't know how people still get worked up.
I don't think it's more people like care that much about the Money in the Bank briefcase and LA Knight getting it. I think it's more just like people just are that desperate to see LA Knight like get something,
I suppose, yeah. All right, fair enough.
People fucking love that guy at the minute, man. So it would, if he doesn't win the briefcase, you would hope that they've got like something for him like immediately. Like I know you've said in the past, Joe, that it seems like it would be perfect for him to win the US title. He has shown up on both shows lately, so who knows? Who fucking knows? Just put it up so people know what we just got greeted with in the live chat.
Margaret Thatcher herself has pulled up $2 super chat. Hello, Joe.
Just a new low, and that thing at the ground that covers,
The speed as well is quite concerning.
I'll be honest, man. I thought I'd bottomed out when I messed up with the star rating and got my license revoked for official spreadsheets. But I did not know the quote Maggie T cinema was the scenario was coming up, the episode was coming up.
Nasty business, but
it's very
of course, even when you are doing your bits like you always do in the live chat, I always say we have the best live chat in all of wrestling. But yeah, keep the super chats coming. Of course, we will pull them up regardless of who they are sent from. Clearly, yeah, let's keep it moving. Where was we? It was
Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, man. All right, coming out of Forbidden Door, other things storyline wise, we've got, of course, the Elite Blackpool Combat Club thing. How will that dynamic kind of change with Brian's injury? Hopefully, he can make All In. We're hoping, but it's kind of looking less and less likely by the day.
Bro, that X-ray was
we're still
insane,
hoping,
Bro, his form was snapped. I was not expecting that. Like, when you tell me a broken bone, right? Like, I'm thinking, like, hairline fracture, maybe a chip. Bro, that shit was snapped into two.
Yeah, because he said fracture during the scrum, and we were just like, oh, like, so there's, like, a chance he'll be back for All In. And then that X-ray picture came out. I was just like, oh, no.
He's so tough. Crazy tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm no doctor, but I did see a few people talking about, like, if it was a fracture, it probably would have been longer out, And a clean break is probably better than, like, I don't know, just from a logic point, just some weird, cracky, I don't know, bro. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm just hoping he's at Wembley, maybe I'm just coping,
Yeah.
Seeing that X-ray and being like,
I gotta say, it's just
do
awful,
something at Wembley, even if you can't wrestle.
With how beat up Brian is so brutal that he got hurt in such a fluke scenario, because he's already hurt and he's wearing down, and bless him, like I love him dearly. I think to me he's probably the best wrestler ever in my personal view. Mm-hmm. And you kind of getting aware, like every time you watch him in a big match, you realize there's not many of these left, if we're being honest, right? Like the real big ones. And the idea that in the midst of all of that, he's going to be missing a couple months because of a total, like, bizarro one-of-one situation just sucks. It's brutal, man. It's a real shame.
It's unfortunate, man.
It is. Obviously, we got the development of what Takeshita's going to be doing coming up. Wondering to see how that plays out. Obviously, Don Callis and Ospreay, they were linked up. We don't know what's going on there because, like, they linked up for the weekend, and then it seems like the feud's over for now. So, like, where does that leave Don on week-to-week TV? Obviously he's got Takeshita still, but he's like, he attached his wagon to Ospreay as well. So, we'll see how that plays out. And of course, Eddie Kingston and Moxley, who were just doing absolute pure fucking artistic brilliance in that 10-man the other night.
When they were just exchanging blows and all the chaos was going on around them, that was like one of my favorite moments of the match, because they just did not give a fuck about anything else that was happening. They were just solely focused on each other. It was just, it was so good.
Eddie's performance is just like, he's still, like, I've been a fan of Eddie for definitely a long minute now. And I've always been I've been a big fan of him for a while, especially like since when he's been at his hottest in AEW as well. Like, it's really special, but like, he still kind of blows me away sometimes with the performances he can put in, and kind of like the realness and the authenticity he can bring to a match. Like, it's just the little things that he can do. Like, there was one point in the match where, like, Mox is like in between him and the Bucks, and Eddie's like confused why he won't let him tag out. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, Mox is wrestling you, bro. And there was just all those like that confliction here throughout the match. Of course, everyone will talk about him taking the super kick and all that stuff. I saw someone criticise it being like it didn't really make too much sense of like why he would do that. Like, and that's not the point. Like, that's like, he's Eddie. Like, he's a mess. You know?
Like,
I would, you know,
made the point of like Mox is still his brother. He just doesn't agree with the decisions he's made.
Right.
And it was also instinctual because, you know, him and Moxley fought the Bucks previously and he was in a whirlwind and it was kind of just what he felt. I think my thing with that spot was I think that obviously it could have been executed better just because the timing was like slightly off. And that's all it, like, because the super kick kind of went past King, right? Like it kind of caught him on the back. That's just, you know, that stuff's like you do it 100 times, it's going to look different every time. It's like a short window. The only thing I would say is it probably could have been given like a beat to breathe where people would go, holy shit, what just happened? But at the same time, the fact that it was in the chaos was kind of the point and the charm of it, right? Because it was like in the middle of war, boom, bullet, you know, it was a friendly fire kind of situation. So
people have to remember, like Eddie Kingston and maybe like Kevin Steen are like two of the only people that are just gonna be like, just because you're a face and I'm a face doesn't mean that all that shit that happened 2 years ago didn't happen. In kayfabe, Eddie fucking hates the Bucks. Right, he has no reason to reconcile relationship with them, and also Eddie's a hothead in and out of kayfabe, so he's fighting these guys, but he's also looking for any excuse to slap the shit out of Nick Jackson. So it's like, oh, you that super kick almost breezed by my ear. It's like you must want me to fuck you up. Like that's just the type of person Eddie is, and it's part of his charm. It's just like he like Monty said, Eddie's just too real, bro. Like a real motherfucker is just not gonna not gonna team up with the Bucks and pretend that they're best friends and shit. That's why I was just like, fuck you, Ishii, you my mans, we out.
Yeah. I love this at the moment. Go on, Charlie, go, mate.
I've got to say, like, other than like Kenny getting like obviously like the pop that he did because it was Kenny in Canada, Eddie was probably the most loved person like during during like the respective matches during that night. Like the crowd reactions he was getting was nuts.
It sounded that way. It absolutely came across that way in terms of him being. I mean, I loved the moment afterwards where Ishii, who had won, was looking over at the fellas arguing, like, what the fuck, man? Like, what the big deal is? Like, we're headed to the pay window. Like, he went over to King and kind of was like, you know, what's the big deal? I got the job done, Chief, you know?
Shout out Ishii, man, getting the pin, getting the win, MVP, you know. Of course, Adam Cole wasn't able to wrestle on Forbidden Door, which was super unfortunate. He was meant to be wrestling Tom Lawler. That, of course, will affect, you know, what's going on with Dynamite going forwards. Like, will it be short term or long term, as it was described as an illness? So, of course, you know, will it be short or long term? What will this mean for MJF? What's he going to be doing going forwards? Like, it's quite, it's a weird one, and I guess tonight we'll kind of get an indication of what that's going to be, you know.
Yeah. They're advertising Cole for tonight, so it seems like it was something short term because in the media scrum, Tony was just saying that it was like he came in with a fever that day, so hopefully it was just something short term.
Hopefully he can. Yeah, we'll know when he's wrestling.
You gotta grab your boots, brother. You gotta grab your fucking boots.
Get them working boots on, Cole. You know. But yeah. What else we got on here?
Let me just make sure.
AEW Fight Forever has been released finally after precisely 16 years and 7 months. AO was left conveniently. I think he must just be so disgusted that he just couldn't take it anymore. Nah, he's back. I accidentally tapped out. My fault. As I was saying, AEW Fight Forever, that was released today finally after precisely 16 years and 7 months of development. But yeah, it seems like there's, as always with big AEW moments, you know, it's been divisive. Some people have absolutely loved it, been having a great time on there. Some people have, you know, not so much. So, AO, have you got the game? Joe, I know you've got the game. Charlie, I'm going to guess you haven't got the game.
Not yet, no.
Charlie doesn't have the game. So me and Charlie on the left-hand side, we do not have the game. Joe, quick thoughts on AEW Fight Forever. You having fun?
I am, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like, you know, an expert on the field by any means, and I always play these games. Well, like, you know, you read these reviews and it like detailed comparisons to 2K, and I haven't played any of the 2K games like in detail enough to even know what the differences are mode wise. I just don't go into it like that. But I mean, Eddie Kingston throws a pretty good chop. You know, you can have some fun. He throws the spinning back fist. He has that funny like yellow belt on his gear, which he's kind of got rid of recently. Bring it back, King. Dax Harwood throws a good chop. And I say all this to say, I enjoyed myself. It was fun. I mean, I'm sure it's like kind of bare bones if you want to play it. Like if you want to get into a lot of modes, it doesn't look like there's a lot on it in that regard. But I don't dig deep enough to really suffer on that front. I got it because I wanted to have some fun. I did. The exploding barbed wire thing is a hoot. I was playing with my brother. If you play that with Power Online, I know how you all that shit. Like you play it with someone, I'd imagine it's much better because it was for us. So it was a great time. I enjoyed it.
Happy days. Ayo, if you got the game?
I haven't gotten it. I thought I pre-ordered it. I didn't. But you know, they fucked us over, bro. I thought this was supposed to be cross-play. You know, we were supposed to be on Twitch doing it up big, but it's not cross-play yet. But apparently, it's supposed to happen. I'm gonna order it sometime this week. You know.
What console you on?
I got a PC, so
okay.
I will be streaming eventually on the Rest of Pures channel and on my channel. I'm gonna start advertising my channel soon. You know, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
I can't believe I'm the one person on here that's played this game. What an incredible turn of events this is.
Bro, if they didn't fuck us over with the crossplay, man, I would have ordered it immediately.
You're the only real one, you know. You're the only real one, Joe. The only real AEW fan on this screen, you know.
Yep.
Something like that, yeah.
Speaking of fans, got another one, Joe. Boris Johnson, $2. We the ones, Joe.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Get that buffoon off.
Is Big Boris going to be at the O2 this weekend?
He better
Just
fucking
sitting
not
with Monty and Joe just throwing up the one.
He better not be. That event would take a turn if he was, let me tell you.
Imagine Joe in the crowd with the fucking Boris Johnson wig on. Throwing up the ones for his man.
Full Usos merchandise, Boris wig.
Incredible imagery. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into the next thing on the agenda. I want to kind of talk about just the general road to All In and All Out. Of course, we've kind of already been doing that with kind of the storylines coming out of Forbidden Door. But you know, what do you think they'll be doing as of right now? You know, what do you want them to do? How will they balance out the storylines on TV to sell out like two pay-per-views week after week, you know, or at least pop good numbers and, you know, create good interest in them? It's kind of an awkward one, you know, because like even if they're not both pay-per-view, which is another thing, like will they be on pay-per-view or will they be on streaming by that time, you know? It's but even still, even if it is on streaming, it's still, you know, two huge shows and two different continents a week apart. Yeah. So balancing the TV and the storylines to build to each show will be interesting. But yeah, I'll start with you, Ayo. What do you think they're going to be doing, and what do you want them to do, leading up to All In and All Out?
I've heard, and this could always change, that they're going to rely somewhat heavily on the brand split that has been created between Dynamite and Collision. You know, just don't expect everybody on. Don't expect all your favorites to be in All In. Don't expect all your favorites to be in All Out. I think there's a strong chance that MJF skips out on Wembley. I think I think Punk stays home. They'll probably main event All In. All Out. It could just I think they're just gonna be like Dynamite crew. Just y'all worry about All Out. All In. Collision crew, y'all worry about All Out. And I think that's the best way to go, because just like if you don't do it that way, it's so confusing, because you're building feuds for two pay-per-views at the same exact time. So how do you do that? And like, what would make somebody be like, you know what, I'll see you on fucking All In or what, as opposed to All Out and this, that, and the third? Just, you know, you have two rosters, you have two different quote unquote A shows. So just go to it that way.
I think like with All In, especially with all the tickets that they've sold already, they could definitely kind of get away with almost like a Forbidden Door-ish kind of build, where it's just kind of like, one online promo, here's a graphic, and it's like fucking, it's whatever the matches end up being. I'm sure they've got the roster to still put marquee matchups on out of thin air. They've got, they're very blessed in that regard. So there's definitely different ways they can go about it. You can do the whole split that AO was mentioning that he's heard about. There's what I've just mentioned about doing like a Forbidden Door kind of build. And they can also go like the really ambitious way of just like doing two builds at the same time. They've still got 5 hours of TV. It'd be awkward in terms of trying to like balance it, but like I said, that's kind of like the really ambitious option. Joe, what do you think?
It's really hard because conceptually, I don't think there's like a perfect solution, right? A perfect answer. I think what AO said makes a lot of sense, like again conceptually, but I have to say I think you probably want to have all hands on deck for Wembley. I think that's such a big show, and.
It'll be the one everyone wants to wrestle on as well, I think.
Yeah, like I actually haven't got a dog in the fight here because I'm going to probably be at both shows, thankfully, so I don't have to worry about it too much. So like that isn't even me being biased. Like, I just feel like you want to have your biggest hitters, your heaviest hitters on Wembley. That visual is going to be iconic. Like that's going to be a crowning moment for the promotion. My very loose pitch would be that the guys who are the main central characters of All Out are supporting players on All In and vice versa. So what I mean by that is if the All Out main event is MJF and Punk, perhaps at Wembley they do a 6-man on the road. You see what I'm saying? Like they could be kind of a multi-man match there. Whereas on the other hand, say you want to do a big Kenny Omega match, say it was Takeshita, then at All Out the following week, they could do a trios with the Elite, for example. Just that's like the best way I could explain it. So yeah, I think that would be my personal pitch is like kind of have them on both shows, but balance it in that way. So there's kind of a difference between them. But I mean, it's going to be very challenging. I mean, it's a nice problem to have, right? Certainly, but it is going to be challenging. Very intrigued what they do, actually. The more we think about it, it's kind of the more interesting it is to me. So interested to see.
I do like your idea, though, to be honest. Charlie, what are you thinking? What are you hoping to do? What do you think they'll do?
I think they're going to be pretty complementary shows. I honestly think what Joe was saying about like you're going to have like your central players for each show, and then like on the opposite show they're going to have like a lesser role so like they'll be lower down on the card or whatever. But yeah, I feel like with both pay-per-views, it's going to kind of be a Forbidden Door sort of thing where it's going to be like these are your 2 big matches, and then here's the rest of the card. Sort of thing. I feel like that's the approach that both All In and All Out are going to have. So I don't know. I'm just excited about it because that's going to be a massive week of wrestling, and I'm hoping to be at both shows as well. We'll see what happens, but it's gonna be a good time. So I'm just excited.
Incredible stuff. It'll be interesting to see how they go about that. I'm sure we'll kind of as the weeks go along, we'll get more of an idea, of course. All In, of course, will be special with the UK atmosphere, AEW's debut in that atmosphere, and I think because of the sort of fan base AEW has, like that combined with your typical UK wrestling audience is going to create something quite insane. So yeah, like Joe sort of think, you want all your big players on All In, man, because it's in Wembley and it's going to be a hell of an atmosphere, and you could tell from when it first got announced, like all the talent was quite blatantly on Twitter, pretty much throwing their hands up, wanting to be on the show. So, very special, and they're never going to get the opportunity to do this in this way again.
I agree.
So, even if they come back here and do stadiums, or they do stadiums in the US or whatever, they'll never have the chance to do their debut in a country like the UK that loves wrestling and loves AEW. In a stadium like Wembley, like they'll never have this exact opportunity again. So
AEW talent is just gonna have to understand that we gotta get these brick rest people on here, man. I need to see. I need to see Ricky Knight Jr. in front of 70,000 people. I'm paying to watch some Cara Noir. You feel me?
Oh come on!
Oh no, that was
nice.
Come on!
What happened?
No, I don't know that name need to be brought up on this program.
I'm not trying to see Jonathan McPemblebottom, just out there just
He's a
doing
hell of a
his
hand.
thing.
Yeah, that
Like,
kid can
come
work.
on, guys. Like this.
He's a good mat wrestler, that
man.
kid. I like him. Good.
Another thing I want to talk about, just kind of want to throw out there, get some ideas, get some suggestions, some pitches, just something, Should AEW do something different with Rampage? It's kind of just like a spare hour that they do on Fridays now, because of course, like if the 1 and 2 shows are Dynamite and Collision, it's like Rampage is like they've got a national TV deal. It's not the most ideal time slot in the world, but it's still there. It's just like I said, it kind of feels like a spare hour now. It's bottomed out ratings wise, if we're being honest. It's not like you got to worry about like, if we change it, we might lose ratings. Like, bro,
Yeah,
there's no more ratings left to lose. So there's opportunities where they could potentially, if they want to, if they're motivated to like, do something different with it. They could get creative with it. They could get weird with it. They could do whatever with it. I was mentioning before the show, like, could they potentially do an all-women show with it? Could they do something like, could they build it around a specific title? Or even not weird shit, bro. Like, could they do something a bit more mature because of the late start time? I don't know. But I'll throw it to you first, Charlie. I'll put you on the spot. When I say, should AEW do something different with Rampage, like what kind of comes to mind, and any suggestions, if any at all?
My favourite Rampage episodes are when they have a bunch of international talent on. So if they do more of that, I feel like that's like one of the best ways they could go about it.
And people watch too.
Yeah, like those have been some of the more successful shows for them recently. I'd like to see the women get like some more substantial stories on there as well. Like, because I feel like that's something that they tapped into a little bit with like the Julia Hart and Anna Jay stuff, and they've done it in the past as well. So like, I just want it to like things that they feel like they don't have room for on like the main shows. I guess like just give them some time on Rampage. It's not going to hurt no one because no one's watching. So
yeah, absolutely. It feels like it could definitely benefit from having like even just that, like, this is where we do this thing. It can't, like I said, at the minute, it kind of does just feel like a spare hour. Hulbert, you got any dream pitches? Anything you would potentially want to see? Anything you think they could do, or just where do you see Rampage these days?
I mean, I think ideally a long time ago, before Collision even emerged, the big thing to me was that I think it really lacked its own like identity in terms of visually. I always wanted Rampage to come from like kind of weird, smaller, quirky buildings. But now that Collision's here, like that's an unrealistic pitch. Like Rampage is now going to be taped on Dynamite no matter what, and that's fine. So I think then you head in the direction that Charlie mentioned. If you kind of go with like, you kind of make it for the sickos, which let me be clear, that's in reference to the folks on the screen and probably most of you in the chat. Like, the kind of matchups that only AEW can bring you with their partnerships and their international relationships, and kind of showcasing that talent, because look, people can scoff at the Rampage rating and they're entitled to, but for an international talent who has only worked New Japan, or is stuck on the New Japan Strong shows more specifically, that's still a very big audience, like, and I think that shouldn't be understated. So I think the episode we got recently, the championship episode we got, which Zach was on and Vikingo was on, and that was an extreme example because that lineup was spectacular. But I think that's the blueprint I would follow, because again, I don't think you can do much in terms of the aesthetic, because it's going to be taped off Dynamite. Like, it just is what it is, right? So I think you have to go with the talent, and kind of Collision has his own vibe, Dynamite has his own. Rampage is where AEW presents some of the more exciting talent from across the world in very unique matchups that only AEW can give you. That would be my general kind of broad pitch, I think.
Yeah, like it's good that you mentioned the championship episode as well, because it's such a clear example and it was pretty recent. So definitely, like, towards that sort of direction would definitely be something that people could at least attach themselves to if they're into that thing. AEW Rampage. It's kind of, like I said, it's kind of just floating around out there. Is there anything different you would do with it, or would like to see done with it?
There are a lot of people on the roster, right, that are like, quote unquote, over but don't get on television. It's just like, I don't get why TK just doesn't throw them on Rampage, let them have their fun matches on there. They could also do themes. Like, I think a Rampage Ladies Night that's promoted, there's just like because there's a lot of belts in AEW, right? Like you could do the TBS, you could do the New Japan Strong, and then you could do whatever the fuck else. You know what I mean? Like invite the Knockouts Women's Champion or whatever, and then like just promote that, and it'll be great PR. I think people would watch it. Maybe not like 500K or whatever the fuck. But 400 is a good number for fucking Rampage nowadays. Like a lot of people have tuned out of it. But I think if they just make it themed or whatever, like it'll give people something to be excited about. It's like maybe fucking, I don't know, TLC night or whatever the fuck. Maybe that's fucking extreme. But do something with it instead of just being like 1 week it's gonna be this, another week it's gonna be that, another week it's gonna be that. Because you never really know what to expect from Rampage. Most of the times you can expect something pretty fucking boring. But
Tony likes his themes, man.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Tony likes his themes as well, man. Like he went through that period. I think it was in like 2021, was it? When he was just like every other week there was like fucking
Last
I don't know,
summer there
Road
was a lot.
Rage, Clash at the Beach, He done like Bash at the Beach, Clash at the Beach, whatever he calls it.
Quake by the Lake.
In like Cleveland or somewhere. Yeah.
Quake by the Lake was the funniest one.
Was that was that kind of the last one that was, because that was the end of a run where they did one like every week, and since then they've only done, I
that was
think,
one of the last, if not the last one, was one of the last ones.
they did Winter is Coming after that, but other than that, I don't think
They
they've
had
done any
Winter's
others.
is Coming, the holiday special, then New Year's.
Yes.
I think the New Year's one was like the last big one that they did.
Yeah, that don't count.
No, because they do that every year.
Winter is Coming don't really count because it's like a deal they've got with the network as well, which is really beneficial. Yeah. It's like a cool thing that they do every at the end of every year. Then
or whatever that one's called this year.
And like New Year's is obviously it's New Year's, it's just easy. It's easy to like do something promotionally to put a bit more juice into that. Yeah. So that don't really count, but. Shit like Quake at the Lake,
Yeah.
Like cracks me up so much.
Oh, do y'all remember how much people fucking hated that card, bro? Like it was like days of discourse. It's like how much that card just disgusted people. It was a pretty good show too.
The Brody King Darby Allin coffin match.
Didn't he have?
It was Jericho and Moxley. It was Jericho and Moxley for sure.
Jericho and
right?
Moxley, yeah. Oh,
was that one Punk came back?
Might been on Fight Forever.
No, I think you're right. They all blend together. This is the issue, right? Is they did so many of them that summer that you can't remember which matches were on which shows. It's tough.
Are they even doing Fighter Fest this year? We haven't heard anything about it yet.
Alright, so
could be
I'm gonna pull up. I'm not sure if it's been tweeted, but before we went live, there wasn't the the old tweet that AEW do with like the whole graphic with all the matches on. So right now, I'm currently going over to the AEW Twitter page to see if they have posted such image. And if they haven't, we're just going to have to scroll through the AEW Twitter page and kind of give our little 10 to 15 minute preview of what is going on in AEW Dynamite tonight. So the first thing I want to start with, which got me super fired up, I'm sure it got everyone on screen fired up as well, and probably most of the chat as well. Tomohiro Ishii versus Jon Moxley, singles match tonight, AEW Dynamite. Absolutely tremendous stuff. Real graps, Joe Hulbert.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be terrific. I will say, I'm sorry I have to be that guy. Very sad we didn't get the Bryan match we were supposed to have. That is... Yeah, cool. This is a wonderful dish that I will enjoy thoroughly, but it will be in the back of my mind. I'm sorry I have to say it. It's no one's fault. It's just the way things go. But, the chemistry these guys have, right? They love beating the hell out of each other, and their match in 2019 is honestly one of the best matches of Moxley's career. And Ishii is still that guy. He's remarkable. He's just so durable. He's the same dude in a lot of ways. So in almost every way. Yeah, he's so reliable. So I'd imagine it will be tremendous. I have no doubt of that. And I'm really excited to see Ishii get another great reaction on national TV, which is like one of my favorite. His overness in AEW is a wonderful thing. It's so
the way he kind of like waddles out as well. It's
he's a good example of like. The way these, the staging is and such in AEW is such a funny fit for Ishii. Like, he looks even smaller, but he's so awesome that no one cares. Everyone's like, oh, fuck it. He's still going to get in there and forearm people and throw headbutts. So I'm fired up for sure.
Some real graps going on, Charlie.
Yes, I'm very excited about this. Like, when I saw the graphic, I was just like, oh my god, that's like the perfect match for this card. I'm so excited. I love Ishii, man. And him and, like Joe was saying, like, his match with Moxie, like, in the G1 in 2019 was just fucking incredible. I rewatched that recently, actually. And, like, I'm just so excited for it. It's going to be great.
Yes. I suspect you fired up for this one, brother.
Real fucking grabs, man. Real fucking grabs. I love Ishii, especially in AEW, because he gets treated like the legend that he is. You know, Ghetto kind of books him like a fucking loser nowadays, man. It's fucked up. And it's not like Ishii wins a bunch of matches in AEW either. He gets pinned his fair share, but he always gets like the star treatment. Like, people know it's a big spot to be in there with him. They try their best, bro. Mox respects him more than anybody, bro. I'm expecting a great fucking match. I'm expecting a beatdown afterwards, some Eddie involvement, some BCC melodrama, a whole bunch of good shit, man. I'm fired up for this.
You know that you bring it up, I think it's worth noting. So next Wednesday, Eddie will be in Japan. He's wrestling Kenta, right?
Yeah.
So considering the G1 starts the week after, it feels like we may get a write-off deal with Eddie tonight. I think he may be taken off TV tonight.
That stretcher job is going to be crazy.
Yeah, so considering what you kind of just met, I mean, the timing's obviously brutal in a lot of ways, but it is what it is. Dude's got to do the G1. It's once-in-a-lifetime stuff. Considering what you just brought up, I'm almost wondering if Eddie makes that save, BCC up in the boots, and Mox has a moment of uncertainty and then just
kills him, bro.
Kills him.
Kills him.
Yeah, kind of like puts
Get
him out
some
of his
real
misery.
heat on Mox.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
could be
some
great.
real heat on Mox, because people know that they have to boo Mox, but at the same time, they're just like, it's fucking John Moxley, man. I'm not really trying to, like, Wild Thing's hitting. Like, I'm trying to see Wild Thing. Like, what's going on? I'm not trying to boo Mox. But if he stretcher jobs Eddie, I think that's like the point of no return. And then the fans are going to be like, oh, well, you're an irredeemable piece of shit, bro. Like, we're just going to boo you. Like,
Could definitely work.
This was
an... Then, as we got Tony Khan announced just before we went live as well, Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, Angelo Parker versus Orange Cassidy, Vikingo, and Keith Lee. A very extraordinary looking graphic, especially Team Cassidy. But yeah, Garcia wrestling with 2.0 again. I like that trio. You know, I think that was like, oh shit.
You were just talking about how much you missed him the other week, weren't you? Garcia and 2.0, weren't you saying that you missed them teaming together and shit?
God, bro, I like that trio. I like good chemistry, you know. Yeah, man. Matt Menard, especially, it's like, even though he kind of just comes to the ring with people these days and stuff. Anytime he's given a bone, bro, he's fucking, you know, he runs with it, mate. You know, he pops me a lot. So, you know, like I said, they have good chemistry. They've got a good dynamic, good comedic dynamic between each other as well. And, you know, we'll see. I don't know what to think of this, Joe. As match quality wise, I don't know where this is going to work. I don't know where this is ending up, mate.
I mean, I think that's the right answer, because I think it's impossible to figure out what this even looks like. It's a hilarious equation, but that's part of the charm of it. You know, it has a kind of weird Fire Pro vibe to it. The name's thrown together. I will say, you probably don't do it now because you're doing this thing, but Vikingo and Keith Lee would have been an incredible team to draw out of that. You know, when they were doing the draw last week.
Right.
That would, you probably don't do it now.
That's the dynamic I want.
Right, like that's what I thought when I saw the graphic. But the graphic is really the highlight here. Keith is like towering over Orange, and Vikingo's head is just over his shoulder. It's amazing. But yeah, it'll be fun enough. It'll be a party match, I think.
Yeah.
Anything else to add on that one? But if not, we'll move on to Hangman Adam Page and the Young Bucks will be in action. So more Blackpool Combat Club elite business going on. I'm expecting Angle, otherwise it would be like a proper match announcement. It's kind of the bat signal for these things. Charlie, what are you expecting to see here, mate?
I have no idea who they're going to be facing. It's very weird to me that they haven't announced it. Like, when I first saw it, I was just like, oh my god, what if they're facing the Dark Order? And, like, they don't even know that yet. So that would be a real moment if it is who they're facing.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm expecting mostly like post-match angle stuff, and
Yeah.
there might not even be a match. They might just get jumped on the ramp. Like that wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, I was
So,
wondering that.
yeah.
Charlie, I'm assuming you have no way of answering this because that would be incredible if you did. But like, have they ever had an in-action graphic before? Like, it feels like they would always announce the opponents for these guys, right? Like, they're not like it's not like they're powerhouse Hobbs, or you know what I'm saying? Like, they always have like a real match. This fascinated me when I saw this graphic. I was
I
like, something
don't
up.
think they've ever just had an in-action one.
Right.
Like not as like a trio. The Bucks may have had one for like a tag match, like when they were
Maybe.
champions, I think maybe. But I don't
Yeah.
think like when they've been doing trio stuff, like they've never had
Yeah,
that.
probably not.
No,
Yeah.
I do kind of have a sneaking suspicion that there's not actually going to be a match, and it's just
Me
going to
too.
be
Angle
BCC
alert.
just beating the
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
out of them.
I agree.
Definitely big angle alert on that one. What else?
Respect
Go
to
on,
the Dark Order, but keep them the fuck away from the Elite.
You know the match is coming, man. It's
I know
happening.
there's a little bit of meat on the bone in that story. Like there's still meat on the bone in that story, but yeah, keep them the fuck away from the Elite.
They haven't done the Hung Bucks Dark Order match yet. It's
we don't need it. Do we need it? You need that match, Joe? Joe, he's just like, yo, they gotta put a bow on this Hangman and Dark Order.
We could definitely debate this one for a few minutes at least, but you know, we got 8 minutes, people. We got 8 minutes.
Okay, let's
We'll speed through these. We'll speed through these for you, and we'll try our best to actually give you some form of opinions. We'll hear from MJF and Adam Cole. Of course, this is. I'm sure we'll get more of an idea with what's going on with Adam Cole here. You know, if they set up a match for next week, then obviously he's fine. You know, and you know, who knows what could happen here. But yeah, hopefully Adam Cole's he's all good. He's back to, and it was just kind of like a fever or whatever it was that he had, and you know, this story continues. But MJF and Adam Cole so far. Joe, have you been into it? How you feeling?
Yeah, I think the last few weeks have been terrific, actually. Adam Cole appears, you know, obviously this is a ridiculous overstatement because it was just the one segment, but he looked so confident last week. It was really cool to see. Like, he just looked like he had his, you know, had his swagger back there, I say. And I know it sounds like, again, as I said last week, it was I'm doing an MJF promo, but it was good to see, genuinely. And I think this thing has really gotten good. The big thing tonight, I would imagine, is we find out who they're wrestling in the tournament, right? In the tag thing. Yeah. So, like, that may be noteworthy, I sense, because you would assume they're going to do something interesting with it. I mean, they've got two of their top guys in the team, so I'm excited for that, definitely.
And speaking of which, more pairings for the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament will be announced tonight. Hopefully it's not just one, like they done last week. I think they're going to do like a full bracket or something. Charlie, any weird pairings that you're hoping to see?
I've convinced myself that I need Lance Archer and Commander. So if just give me a big man and a luchador, like the Batista Rey Mysterio sort of vibe. That's what I want. That's like one of the I don't care about the rest of the teams. They can all be jobbers. I don't care. Just give me that dynamic.
Ao, quickly, you got a pair that you want to see announced in this tournament at all?
I haven't really given it any thought. Like, even before the MJF and Adam Cole pairing, I haven't really given this any thought. I just hope everything else is inspired, like MJF and Adam Cole was, and this just all wasn't just the whole big thing just to, you know, what if we made them get along? Like, what if they could coexist? Like, I know that's where they're kind of angling with them too, but like, let's have some other story. Not even stories, but something else interesting going on in this tag team tournament and shit.
Yeah. We hear from Jack Perry. Obviously, we've kind of already covered this because we talked about the heel turn specifically, so I'm counting that as checked off. Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Sting and Darby Allin. I'm hoping this will be better than the trios match at Forbidden Door. And in similar fashion to the last pay-per-view, Jericho can kind of, you know, save face again in the match in the following Dynamite, like he did with Cole. When he done the mixed tag match on the Dynamite. So, yeah, hopefully this is a good time, man. It definitely does have ingredients to be so, you know. It's not like the trios match. I think all of us were expecting it to be a lot better than it was. You know, whatever reasons you want to put it down to, whether it was, you know, Sting having kind of a weird night out there, a few botches here and there from a couple people. T-shirt Naito, yeah. You know, there's a position on the card as well. Like, there's a few factors, but just quickly from you guys, we're expecting this one to be better.
AEW
Probably
doesn't
so.
really miss with the tornado tags.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I think the
Alright.
stipulation will do a lot to hide
I think it'll be
some
fun.
of the wear and tear.
I think
The Painmaker thing is funny, if nothing else. I know that's the point, but it's fun. I will say very quickly, because no one likes to do this list, and I'm not into the safety police thing, especially on this week. But I do think they should try to keep in mind the people that Sting needs to be interacting with. The last couple of times I've seen him, he's been doing shit with guys who should not be doing stuff. He's 64 years old. You know, like it's.
Yeah.
You know, I remember we did a pre-show on the Toa Leona match, right? And I said, I was like, don't let, I love Toa, do not let him near Sting. He nearly killed him, you know, like that worries me slightly, but, you know, it is what it is. He's a grand man. It's not doing me.
Yeah,
I think it'll be fun.
And at least you'd expect to have, good vibes, as we always say.
Yeah.
Probably overuse on here, but it probably will. You got Sting and Jericho in the same ring again, so, and Darby and Sammy can definitely do a lot of heavy lifting. So, that one's that. And of course, we got the Owen Hart tournament. Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho. Who are we expecting to go through on this one? I'll start with you, Charlie.
I'm kind of expecting Ruby to go through, honestly. Get a win back, obviously, because Britt beat her last year to win the tournament. So that's what I'm kind of anticipating. Was that the finals match? Or did I just...
Yeah.
No, that was the
finals,
finals
yeah.
match. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
fucking
think
Rancid
that
out
Ruby's
there.
been in here. Soraya's probably going to interfere. So that's what I'm basically anticipating from this.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too surprising, to be honest. Hulbert, are you expecting to get the win in this one?
Yeah, I've got Ruby also. I think she probably loses in the final to Willow. That's my current guess, I think.
Yeah. Ayo, where you at?
I think Ruby wins here. Like Chuck said, she needs to get her win back, and I think there's if they're gonna tell this story that DMD turns heel on Jamie, she needs to rack up some losses, get a little desperate, turn on her friend, all that good shit. So there's a story to be told on both halves.
We'll see, and obviously, as Charlie can attest to, Tony did hint at there possibly being, people who want to come back and challenge for Tony's title. So if there is interferences in this and the whole Outcast are there, then maybe there could be a return or something like that from a Jamie. I doubt it'll be Thunder Rosa making the save for Britt Baker, but
Interesting.
And in terms of result, I'll be the contrarian and say Britt Baker is going to go through just for being contrarian's sake, But yeah, that's AEW Dynamite, and we got a few super chats, and that's the podcast pretty much. I'll quickly speed through them. Bruh, $5. Appreciate you very much. If AO is right, then I hope y'all Brits enjoy Keep Sabian versus Ryan Nemeth on the main card. Also, who does Ospreay work at Wembley in your minds? I don't know, man. Or just if it's not going to be Kenny, it'll be just like I think he'll still be on the card if it's not Kenny, of course. Because why would you pass up that opportunity? Pac, yeah, Pac or
Pac would be
someone.
awesome.
We are
Before we
deep
go
enough
back
in
to
this
the
show that I don't have to explain this, so I'm just going to say I think CM Punk would have a lot of fun with that crowd, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Fair.
Fair.
Fair, very fair. Short-term Spurs, $5. Appreciate it very much. Rampage would be much better as a place to give women more time or younger wrestlers a bigger spotlight and no more Matt Hardy booking shenanigans. Fair.
Accurate.
Give the contract.
And
Look, man,
another one.
if Rampage keeps Matt Hardy happy, then just give him his quarter on Rampage, bro. We don't need this shit on Dynamite
God
no more.
bless.
Even though I will say, Matt Hardy versus the Guns was actually surprising. The Hardy Boys versus the Guns were surprisingly kind of fun.
Just that.
It was pretty good. It was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heated and shit,
The Guns
and
were really
managed
good
to
at that.
ride. Yeah, they managed to ride the heat, if that makes sense. So it was good enough, Big Bill and Jeff Jarrett, $2. That would definitely be an interesting tag, mate, for the Blind Eliminator. And AEW Dynamite is starting as I speak, so we're going to get out of here. We appreciate everybody who has watched along with us. Please like and subscribe as always. Massively appreciate all the super chats. Please turn on our post notifications if you haven't already. And of course, like I just said, please remember to like and subscribe. Tomorrow, we will be back with the AEW Dynamite review with myself, Charlie, Joe, and we'll be swapping AO out for Manny the Hooper, who always has something interesting to say. Yeah, man, we will catch you all tomorrow. And again, We appreciate you very much for watching, and yeah, man, enjoy Dynamite, everybody. Peace.
Peace.